Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley Estes and I am going to start a new series here on my channel, the Mountain View Cottage, that I'm super excited about. It's actually been a long time coming and it's something I started working on a couple years ago when one of my followers on Instagram requested that I make this like a course. So this is as formal of a course that I'm going to make it as just being a free series here on YouTube. And she suggested that I call it Get Your Life Together Boot Camp. And I think it's kind of funny because A, I've not always had my life together, and B, my life falls apart still regularly. I don't always perfectly have things together. But I'm thinking the reason she wanted me to create something like this is because I do manage a lot in my day-to-day. If you are new here to my channel and this is the first video you're ever watching, let me introduce myself again. I'm Haley. I am a stay-at-home mom. I have 7 children. We are a foster care family, and so one of our children is in foster care. One of our children we've adopted through foster care, and 5 of our children are biological children, which include twins, which was my very first pregnancy as a 20-year-old. My husband works in law enforcement, which is a very busy career field, and it requires lots of hours every week, well more than 40, often close to 60 to 80 a week. Aside from being a stay-at-home mom, I homeschool our children, which is a newer development in the last 4 years. And I also run 2 Etsy shops, a blog, and I share our life on Instagram. And I share a lot of the cleaning and organizing and just kind of planning and, just keeping your home maintained behind the scenes on Instagram in my stories. And then I share tons of cleaning reels and things on Instagram. And so another thing I share a lot about is meal planning and cooking. And so let me say I'm not an expert, but I do have things down to a science at this point. I've been a mother for 12 years. And I love being a mom, and I am passionate mostly about creating an environment and an atmosphere in our homes that is peaceful and happy and full of joy. And that is my intent in doing this series, is giving you some tools or some ideas that may help you create that kind of an atmosphere in your home as well. This will be part 1. I'm just gonna kind of tell you my story, where I started and how I've gotten to this place 12 years later. But I'm gonna paint a picture for you of what my life looked like 11 years ago. So it's exactly 11 years ago because my daughter just turned 11 this like 2 weeks ago. So almost probably to the day. I would say that the season of my life that was one of the hardest, I've had many other seasons that have been hard since, but this was the season that made me realize that things had to change. I was 22. I was sitting on the couch with my brand new 2-week-old baby, and I had my 19-month-old twin boys in the background. So we had 3 children under 2. And my baby girl is screaming and crying, and I have a picture of this. I'll try and include it in this video. She is screaming and crying on the couch, and in the scene behind her, my twins have a big bucket, like a Sterilite bucket that you store like clothes and stuff in, and they have it flipped upside down. They're standing on top of it, and they're flipping the lights on and off together in the background. And I remember in that moment feeling so overwhelmed by being a mom and thinking this is not what I thought I signed up for, and feeling like I didn't have control of my life. And in that moment, I decided to take the picture because I was like, I can either cry because I'm feeling so overwhelmed, or I can take a picture of this and remember this one day and remember that I got through this hard day. And I'm so glad I took that picture because I laugh about it now, and it's one of my favorite pictures because it truly did depict kind of how crazy that season was with 3 babies, essentially. My twins were born premature and had some pretty complicated health problems. And so while they were 19 months old, they were really developmentally much younger than that. And so I had 3 babies that I was taking care of at that time. They were all in diapers for most of the time. They all potty trained around the same time, and it was just like a crazy season. But I remember in that moment thinking, my husband was working nights and I was staying home with the kids. that I didn't want to have a motherhood that I wished away, where I was constantly wishing for the next season to happen faster, for my kids to be toddlers, for them to be kindergartners, for them to be first graders. You know, I didn't want a motherhood that I was constantly wishing away because the seasons were so hard. I wanted to embrace each season that I was in. And the only way that I could do that was to be able to be in the season I was in fully, embrace it and love it, but have systems and habits in place that made it so that I could enjoy it and that I wasn't feeling like I was constantly living in chaos. And I realized that while I had wonderful support systems all around me, I had my husband's family and my family living really close to me at the time, that could come in and help me with kids and stuff. They couldn't do that every day, and they couldn't do that all day long. I had to figure out how to exist in my home with my 3 little kids and my husband in a way where I created the peace and I was the escape from the chaos of the world. And I realized that I could do that in a variety of different ways, but it was all the choices that I made each day. And so I am going to share with you in this series, we're going to dive deeper into what those habits and what my life organization and meal planning and time planning and goal setting and all of that looks like and how it's evolved over the last 12 years. And I'm just going to kind of give you an inside peek into my brain and how I run my house and my family, so that we can function well and have peace and joy and happiness in our home, because that is truly my most important mission here in this world. And I want to share that with more people. Sorry, I get emotional because I am also a foster mom, and I know what it looks like for kids who don't have this peace and this joy. And my hope in sharing this is that I can reach more families besides just the kids who are coming into my home from broken families and broken homes, but I can reach farther to other families who are struggling in their homes and other mothers who are struggling in their homes, and empower them to take charge of your family and bring that hope and that peace to your families that you all deserve, including you as mothers more than anything. So this is just my first video for this series. I will be back every week for weeks. We will be discussing so many different things, from meal planning to morning routines, afternoon routines, to cleaning and organizing and goal setting and planning your year and your quarter and your week. All the things that go into running your household that just make things easier. They take a little bit of time up front, but they just make everything flow so much smoother, and they give you peace. I am someone who struggles with anxiety big time. And I have learned that these habits and these routines have become my lifeline so that I don't live an anxiety-filled life all the time. I still struggle with anxiety, but it is so much more manageable, and our home has so much more peace because of these things that we do, not just me, but as an entire family. And I can share with you how my children now help me with these things. I'm in a season now that's busier, maybe you would say, than when I had 3 little children, 3 little babies. But in some ways it's easier because my children are older, and I've been able to implement skills with my children where they are part of our household and how it functions and the economy of our household, and we all work together so that it doesn't all just rest on my shoulders, since my husband has such a demanding job and works so many hours. I'm so excited to share this series with you. I feel like this is the reason that I'm on the internet, is to share this with you. This is kind of the glimpse behind the scenes that I give you on Instagram. If you watch my stories and my reels, this is kind of the what I'm trying to share with the world, but this will be more broken down with me talking and telling you my stories and how I got to this place and how I developed all of these things so that our family runs the way that it does now. Thank you so much for being here. I highly encourage you to share this with a friend that you think might want to do this with you. I will have actionable things that you can do each week and start implementing some of this stuff in your life today. And it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to take a ton of time. But if there's someone that you feel like would benefit from this too with you, I highly encourage you to tag them in the comments of this video. Thank you for being here. Please give this video a thumbs up if you have a moment to help support what I'm trying to share with the world. And if you could subscribe to my channel, and I will upload every single week. We have had some really significant challenges over the last several months, and I have not missed a single day of uploading on YouTube. Every Thursday is when I upload. So you can expect that from me going forward because I have committed to this. So I hope you'll come back next week and we can talk about the first real actionable part of this series. But thank you so much for being here.